Reflection this wonderful day. And today, dear listener, I'm just talking about something that is a bit on the light side. You know, at times in life you need a bit of humor, and at times you just need to look at things, dear listener, from a light perspective, dear listener. And today I'm looking at the type of marriages that we have out there. Types of marriages we have out there, because at times, you know, it's good to understand where you are in order for you to understand where you need to go. It's good to understand where you are for you to understand where you need to go. And so, just looking at this in a very light note, just to help us understand where are we in our marriages. Because remember, seeing a man and a woman together does not necessarily mean that it is working. You know, seeing kids doing well in school. KCP came out yesterday. Seeing that kids have done well doesn't necessarily mean that the family structure is actually working. You know, there can be a system, but something may be a problem. So I begin, dear listener, with the types of marriages, dear listener, that you have out there. Number one, dear listener, type of marriage you have out there, dear listener, is what I call the Jericho Jerusalem marriage. Jericho Jerusalem marriage. If you have ever been to Israel, Jericho and Jerusalem, dear listener, face opposite sides. You know, they're in the same region, but they're in completely opposite sides. So this is a marriage where people stay together, but literally everything they're doing is working towards pulling away. If you're a couple where people are together, they're in the same house, they live together, they go in the same car, but everything they do in their lifestyle is an effort to go opposite directions, and there is no effort for cohesion. This is the kind of marriage where people do what they want to do the way they want to do it. But they actually meet someone and you wonder, are they still single? Because everything they do, they're working towards pulling away, yet they're actually together. Jericho and Jerusalem exist in the same place, but face opposite sides. And this is the most interesting thing, that you can be the same person in the same bed, you go in the same car, have the same children, but you look at life differently, and everything you do, dear listener, is pulling in the opposite direction. The next one, dear listener, this is one I like fighting about with couples every single day, is what I call the project manager's marriage. The project manager's marriage. What do I mean? This is a marriage that is glued together, not because the couple are committed to each other, but because the couple have responsibilities and commitments to other things. This is when a couple stay together because if I go, I'll be unable to pay my bills, you know. If I go, the children will not function. This is a couple where conversations are dominated by reports. Did you do this? Did you go here? Did you manage to do this? It is always about what was done and what was not done. This is a very interesting kind of marriage, because many marriages actually get in this stage and they stay there. I'll be very honest right now. If you ask someone right now to look at the text messages that they sent each other with their spouse, you will laugh. Because you'll find the messages are bulk about what? What should be brought, what should come, what was not done. Did you pick up the children? What time is the milk coming? Send me this amount of money, pay this bill, do this. It's always conversational. You know, the children are sick today. Oh, yesterday your mother needed this, or my mother needed this. It's always about a project. The funny thing about projects is that with projects, actually time goes by. With project manager's marriage, actually, the marriage time flies in the marriage. When I've got 24 years of marriage on project. So when the children go and the projects end when they retire, they look and wonder, where did the marriage end? Because they were so busy solving problems and dealing with issues, they forgot each other. Number 3, this is what the marriage that comes from. This name has been derived from where I come from. Yes, it's called the bullfighting marriage. The bullfighting marriage. What is the bullfighting marriage? This is a type of marriage, as the name just suggests, dear listener, is that it's dominated by tough wars. Tough, T-U-F-F. Whereby every time in this marriage, there are territorial battles. Every time. One person wants to dominate the other, and the other is fighting not to be dominated. And vice versa. They are always trying to dominate each other. Everything about dominance. That's a marriage whereby they will argue about a spoon for free of charge. Because one entered the marriage with a mindset that I will not be dominated. In fact, more often than not, both of them enter with the mindset they want to be dominated. In the process of saying they want to be dominated, they dominate each other. Ukisikia mtu when you're dating akisema siwezi kubali kukaliwa, remember that person, if you marry them, mnaingia a bullfighting marriage immediately. Because someone who enters with the mindset of siendi kukaliwa are already ready for tough wars. They are ready for war. And if you had a mindset about that before you got married, that siezi nikaambilika, or siezi, there's a mindset we have before we get, especially in this generation, whereby you already set your mind, me, I can't be, I won't allow a woman to speak to me this way, or I won't allow a man to talk to me this way. The moment you are that predisposed, automatically, dear listener, no matter how much love you have, you enter what you call a bullfighting marriage, where daily mnapigania space and you are fighting each other for dominance. Number 4, this is a strange one, number 4, dear listener. It's called the overlapping marriage. The overlapping marriage. What is overlapping marriage? It's strange because it looks like it's functioning, yet in reality, it is the most chaotic marriage. Because in the overlapping marriage is, someone is doing something, then the other person comes and is also doing something, or rather doing the same thing but differently. So there's always someone doing and undoing, and doing and undoing, because the one undoing thinks they can do it better. After they undo, the other one who has been undone comes, complains, and takes over the thing and does it again. So the marriage is always overlapping. No one literally takes responsibility, and the first responsibility is no one decides either to go or to sit. They are always trying to outdo each other, not do together. No. So because both of them are assuming that they have a better way of doing things, they have a better way of handling money, they have a better way of functioning, they have a better way of planning the house, they have a better way of disciplining, they have a better way of prayer. They always believe that they're better than the other one. So in that context, they're always doing something above the other. This one undoes very many good things. Couples like this, dear listener, are the couples who actually can sit down and dream for 2 days. They can talk about the house they'll build, the school the kids will go to, the car they will drive. When you see when you go for a function, now with such a couple, you'll actually envy them. Because, dear listener, they actually sound like they know what they are doing. But kumbe, behind the scenes, nothing ever moves. They never get things done. They will never buy that piece of land. They will never do what needs to be done. They will never work on them. They will never, because it is always overlapping, because none of them is willing to reconcile with the fact that maybe my partner knows and I don't know. Number 5, the bypass marriage. The bypass marriage. This is the marriage that gets many couples into my office, because it's a marriage that never resolves any issues. They are always good at burying issues and looking for the best way around the issue. Always looking for the best way around the issue. They never want to confront and say, you are actually like this, or you have done this. No. Because many a times in marriage, people make these mistakes. People make mistakes in marriage. Actually, the funny thing is that after a conflict, is when human beings tend to believe that they are approachable after a conflict. Many human beings never understand that maybe they are unapproachable within a conflict. So you find that in the bypass kind of marriage is that they have mastered the way of burying and pretending that all is well. Bypass couples have mastered how to exist in the middle of conflict. They know how to exist. In fact, these are couples who surprise everyone when they divorce. Wakuja wasema tunaachana, the family gets shocked and terrified because they never knew. The bypass couple, in fact, when they separate, they divorce, even they themselves, if I started them in my office and ask them, when they begin to dig the things that happened in the marriage, those things come out of provocation. When one of them throws something, aseme, my wife is a bad cook, then we atatoa aseme, he comes home late. Then now they begin. But in general, asema, no, it's nothing much. We just are not getting along. Kumbe, there are things behind. How to a bypass marriage, whereby you know how to exist in conflict. You are not happy, but you exist in conflict for the sake of PR, dear listener. After this short break, dear listener, I'll give the remaining 4. This is Waumini Soul Food. I'm Victor Salamba. This very glorious Friday morning, dear listener, the 16th day of April, This is, I'm talking about the different types of marriage that you have. I said, it's just at times, I like just changing it and giving it a reflection that is a bit, with a bit of humor in it, dear listener. So just examine yourself and see, where are you? Are you in a bypass marriage? Are you in the overlapping marriage? Where are you exactly? Will be available on my Facebook page, dear listener, within the course of this wonderful day, dear listener. We go to number 6, dear listener. Number 6. This is where people will cause a riot. Number 6 is what I call the mystery marriage. The mystery marriage is a funny kind of marriage because it's not clear if you're married or not. And I found people saying, I'm not even sure. You are married, but you're not sure you are. People see you, yes, unaishi na mtu, or they see you have their name, or they even came for your wedding, if you had a wedding. But even you're not clear if you're married, because everything that happens in that house, everything that happens on the ground, dear listener, it just does not feel like a marriage. Doesn't look like a marriage, doesn't feel like a marriage. Ukienda kwa hotel, you order food, and when you eat it, unashanga hizi ni chips ama hizi nini. It looks like it, but dear listener, it is actually not it's not it. So a mystery marriage, many people find themselves there because you're married to someone and you're not sure if you're married. And so you can't even ask for things because it looks abnormal. And the married people live like this. Now, in Africa, people say that they are single married in such a situation. Number 8. If you're in this one, then you really need a lot of help. It's called a surprise marriage. A surprise marriage, dear listener, is when you did not find marriage. Marriage found you. In English, what am I saying? That things happened that ended up getting you married. Hizi ni zile unapata, maybe as a man, this lady just moved into your house. Alikuja kukutembelea kaka na bado ujue ni 6 years. While you are away ni 6 years. And you're married. Or you got pregnant and were forced to get married. This is what I'm saying, that things happen, dear listener, but actually force you to get married. Now, the problem is this, that such marriages lack commitment because the person who is married feels as though they were conned and they have never really settled. They're always looking, because they never wanted to marry you in the first place, but they were surprised by marriage. You never wanted to marry them in the first place, but you were surprised by marriage. A surprise marriage requires a lot of work to make it work, because the parties involved, one of them or both of them, feel that they were conned. But sasa ni mmoja who always feels as though, I was forced here to marry, I never wanted to marry you, but you're here anyway. So they never really commit. Now, here's the funny thing, that actually a surprise marriage can build into a mystery marriage, because I never wanted to marry you in the first place, so I don't even act as though I'm your spouse, because you forced me to marry you. That is interesting, dear listener. Then, dear listener, the next one, dear listener, is what I call the chess game marriage. This is the marriage that is full of mind games and shifting blame and taking statements, turning them upside down. These marriages are tedious psychologically. The marriage is work psychologically, because it is always a game. Who is ahead of the game? And it's always a tedious relationship, continuously, dear listener. It's called a chess game marriage. And lastly, dear listener, the one we all want is what I call a triangle marriage. A triangle marriage is a marriage that has balance. This is a marriage that everyone has a role and God is the guide. This is a marriage that is clear about where it goes, where it is pointing to. It is a marriage that is clear about the role that the husband plays, the wife plays, and the role that God plays. It's not a marriage where people have buried their heads in the sand. It's not a marriage where people are hiding behind religion, behind other things. No. It's a marriage where I do my part, you do your part, and also together as a family, we allow God, dear listener, to be able to meet us at the point of need. Dear listener, what kind of marriage do you have? There are other, I cannot be able to mention today. There are like other 3 more which I would have mentioned, but out of time I will not be able to mention them today, dear listener. But what kind of marriage do you have? And remember, this will be available on my Facebook page, Victor Salamba, during the course of the day. Stay tuned.